Boys and girls, whether you're a beginner or not, we oftentimes do things that unfortunately hinder our gains. Today, we're going to go through 9 things that quite significantly impact your gains. I'm going to give you the problem and a possible solution. They're in no particular order. First, we're going to start with self-sabotage. This happens to all of us, just at different levels, and it can be caused from multiple things, like lack of self-awareness, lack of willpower, or simply just giving yourself excuses. For example, if you're trying to lose weight and the diet gets a little bit difficult one day, you go and have one bite of a snack, but then that one bite turns into many other bites, and you either don't catch yourself, and by the end, you feel terrible, or you do catch yourself, but decide that this isn't that deep, and then again, by the end, you feel terrible. Another example is when it comes to the gym, you very well know that you should be training, if not to failure, very close to it. Sometimes we are a little bit tired, we don't want to do that. And you catch yourself just before the last few reps, and you say, that's it, that's enough for me. In those moments, you should have just done it. And I know it's not that easy in practice, but once you do it a few times, you get much better at it, and you can immediately stop yourself, you can tell yourself off, and you can go ahead and power through it. Just like anything else, it's literally a skill that you build. The more times you do it, the easier it becomes doing it. Sometimes, however, we're not fully aware that we do these things. So what you can do is just try and be a lot more present in the moments that matter. For example, when you are training, be more present. One way you can do that is by writing down everything that you're doing, writing the weights, writing the sets. As soon as you finish the exercise and you have to write what you did, you're gonna think, did I actually go to failure? Did I actually push myself? I don't think so. Let me do it again. Another situations where you have to be a lot more present is when you pick your food and when you eat your food. If your food isn't weighed out in advance, weigh it out in advance, put it in a plate and microwave it and eat it. If every time you're weighing your food, there will be one day where you're just gonna add a little bit extra, and that one day will turn into many. So simply don't do that. If you snack on things, don't have snacks in your house. Another very common excuse is lack of time. And I guarantee you 99% of you have the time to go to the gym, to meal prep, and to eat better. And if you think that you don't, let me give you a task. One day take a notebook with you and carry it everywhere. Every 15 to 30 minutes, write down exactly what you were doing. And a few common things that you're gonna find out is that you maybe spent half an hour in the toilet on your phone, maybe spent half an hour in the bed before sleep on your phone. During your work break, maybe you spend half an hour on your phone. Do you notice the pattern? We spend so much time on our phones without even acknowledging it. Once you've identified the issue, you can quickly fix it. The second thing that I believe is limiting your gains and progress is just terrible friends. Nowadays, going on a diet, going to the gym, and doing healthy things is actually looked down upon a lot more than doing the bad things. And if you come from a group of friends that finds that normal, for example, going down to the pub every Friday or every weekend, having a few pints, smoking, going to the club, as soon as you decide that this isn't quite the life that you want anymore, you are likely going to be judged by them. Now, unfortunately, this is a very tough situation, and I've been there myself. And a lot of people that I know have also been there. The solutions are, give it time. If the friends don't change, unfortunately, they're just not the friends for you. Now, of course, it doesn't mean that you have to have exact same goals, exact same interests, exact same use of your time with your friends. However, the mindset does need to be somewhat the same. There's this saying which I think goes, you are the sum of your 5 friends. And if you sit down, think about it, write some things down about yourself, you're gonna figure out that that is true. So if that's the case, figure out where the rotten apples are, just remove them from the basket. You know what you want to do is for the greater good for yourself and those around you. There is no need to let others spoil the bunch. Number 3, bad gym environment. This is slightly harder to fix. The impact of this one does range depending on who you are as a person. However, even those of us that tend to create our own environment and just put on the headphones, go to town, get a hard session in, at the end of the day, it still catches up. How many times have you gone to an Anytime Fitness or a gym group and you have seen an absolutely massive jacked guy? It is so fucking rare, and that is simply because of the environment. The membership is so much cheaper. They have all the equipment that you need. So you can become huge if you train hard. But when you walk in and everybody is just there for the sake of it, nobody is actually putting in the work, half of them are on their phone just scrolling through between their sets, that is not an environment that pushes you to work harder. And again, most of these factors don't affect you 100%, but when you wake up on that one day and you're tired, having a bad day, something happened in your life, and you simply don't have the energy to fight against the current that one time, all of these things will impact you. So when you're feeling shit, but you go to a gym that every single person is working so hard and is putting their soul into it, you will too. Trust me. This is another reason why I'm currently changing gyms after 8 years of being in the same place. I created my own environment for 8 years. And now it's just not enough for me. So I have to go somewhere else. Now for the fourth thing, which can be slightly controversial, but if most of us just use our goddamn brain, we would realize it's not even that controversial. And it's the fact that so many people rely on stupid ass supplements. It's called a supplement. It supplements your diet. If your diet is ass, you're not getting anything right, how the fuck do you expect that a protein powder will make you jacked? Do you know how annoying this is? As a coach myself, one of the most commonly asked questions is, what kind of supplements do you take? It's beyond ridiculous. I take magnesium. I don't take protein powder. Get the bulk of the things right. Food is energy. If you're not consuming enough energy and the right energy, you taking a pre-workout isn't going to impact your working session as much as just getting carbs before your workout. This is one of the hardest things to sort out and one of the things that takes the longest to figure out. I'm in my 9th year of training and I'm still figuring out my nutrition day to day. What works, what's best, what to do, what not to do. All of that money that you spend on supplements can be invested somewhere else. And if only people realize that it's literally all marketing, then the world would literally be a better place. The only scenarios is when you should start considering supplements is when you've done absolutely everything possible through your diet, workout, and recovery, and you still need that little push, or you're an athlete that's using it to compete, both amateur and professionally. You're now doing it for a reason. You need that extra boost of 1 to 5 to 10% of whatever it is, because everything else is in order. That whole foundation of everything else is so sturdy that nothing is going to tip it over. If you eat crap, fast food and takeout, and you put a protein powder in, that's not going to do anything but just waste your money. And if you don't know how to do your diet, your training, etc., you can follow me. I post things about it all the time. You can do other research, you can follow other people. You can now ask AI, or even better, if you're serious about it, get a damn coach. All that money that you spend on supplements your whole life, compressed, coach. The next thing on the list is a little bit more about advanced lifters. And that is the fact that you're just not having fun anymore with your training, with your lifestyle. You've hit a plateau. You cannot keep pushing yourself the same way that you used to do. And this happens to all of us that have been going to the gym for a few years. Myself, nearly a decade. I've changed the way I work out about 3 to 4 times. And currently, I'm in that state again where I need to change it one more time because things just don't hit the same anymore. You've been eating the same food, you've been doing the same workout, you've been having the same routine. And although this is exactly how you make the most progress and the most bang for your buck, because this is a game of consistency over motivation, we need to remember that our bodies are extremely smart and they adapt. They both adapt to the physical stimulus and the food stimulus. So if we've been doing the exact same movement for the past 3 years, it's probably nothing new for your body and nothing will happen from it. So in this case, if you are feeling like this, what you can do is figure out which one of the things really is the problem. Is it the training? Is it the recovery? Is it the food? And you can slightly tweak it to add more excitement into your life, or you can completely change it around and just see what happens. At the end of the day, you're still gonna learn something. Even if it doesn't work, you learned what doesn't work. And then, if it doesn't work, figure out why it didn't work. So then you learn 2 things, and you can apply that why to the things that work and explain why they work. You are kind of never going to lose on training wise, because as long as you train hard, you will pack on muscle, kind of regardless of the exercise that you do. So you are all safe in that department. Next on the list is most likely the biggest factor of why you're losing gains, why you're not making progress, whether it's weight loss or weight gain, and it is stress. This one is the most complicated and it is the most broad. Your stress could come from so many things. Work, money, relationships, school, the future, the past. So many things could be on your mind that are constantly putting you in a stressful mindset. Now, when the body is stressed, it releases cortisol. If you're stressed all the time, you get chronically high levels of cortisol. In other words, hypercortisolism, which is a terrible situation to be in. And in certain moments, even if you feel relaxed, your cortisol is still high because you've been in that state for so long. This has so many negative effects, like weight gain, weight retention, water retention, metabolic imbalances, like blood sugar levels, elevated protein breakdown, impaired recovery, so many things. And this is unfortunately the most complex one to fix. I'm sure you've been in the situation where something has happened and the next day you go to the gym, you just don't have the energy to squeeze your palms. You just don't have the energy to push the same way that you did. Very similar to the days where you just didn't sleep well enough, and then you go to the gym the next day and you feel like an absolute bum. This is so common, and sometimes the effects are so quick that you literally notice it within hours or the next day. Another big reason for so much stress nowadays is how much we actually spend on our social media. This could either be information about the world, which we just don't need to hear most of the time. It doesn't impact us directly, and it could be coming from comparison. Everybody has heard comparison is the thief of joy, and unfortunately we kind of need to be reminded about that pretty much daily. Social media posts the best of people. When you go outside on the street and you look at everybody around you, you will see how most people are a bit miserable. So simply stop comparing yourself. To limit the stress in our life, there's a few things that we can do. First, identify exactly what is stressing you. If you don't quite know how to do that, try journaling, try writing down your feelings, try reducing them, try noting why. Being more present in the moment also helps reduce our stress because we're focusing on the things that we do around us, the moments. Spending time with loved ones and other techniques like meditation, breath work, even starting a new hobby or a sport. If you're a frequent gym goer, start stretching. If you don't go to the gym so often, do a little bit more of a cardio sport. Just see how it goes. Do what you like. Try and channel out everything else that is on your mind, and over time that will build up. It's a skill that we build up, and you'll be much less stressed. You'll be recovering so much better, and you are going to see all the progress skyrocket. Now, the next one, very, very closely related to stress, is sleep. Sleep naturally reduces the levels of cortisol. Regarding weight loss and muscle growth, it increases levels of HGH, which is human growth hormone, which is so useful for the repair of basically all the cells in your body, and IGF-1, insulin growth factor 1, which is also just as useful for repair. Sleep also helps get glycogen in your muscles, which is the main energy that our muscles use. It reduces inflammation from the workouts, and we're not even mentioning all the cognitive and mental benefits that sleep has for us. Basically what I'm trying to say is make sure you sleep good. The easiest way to fix this is make sure you go to bed on time, make sure you wake up on time. And I know it sounds common sense, but so many of us don't do that. If you have trouble falling asleep, staying asleep, or getting back to sleep after you've woken up, then there's a plethora of other things that you can do. For example, get blackout blinds, make the room cold, get a wind down routine, brush your teeth with your non-dominant hand, which confuses the brain. Very cool fact. Again, meditation before bed could help. There are so many things. If you don't fully know what the problem is, again, try noting down where the problem could be arising from. Avoiding stressful situations before bed is also very important. This could be going on your social media. As we mentioned, it could have so many impacts. But also, a lot of people go to the gym or go running right before bed. And although you may feel like you fall asleep quicker and you sleep better, inside it's not actually the case. Your body kind of has to go into stress mode, which again releases cortisol. That doesn't flush out of your system immediately. So when you go to bed and you fall asleep, you don't get that same deep sleep. Other things are avoid eating right before bed, avoid high sugars, etc. There's so many things. Now, before the last two things, if you found any of this information useful, drop a comment, drop a like, give me a subscribe. We are trying to grow this channel together. And second to last, we've got ego. Now, let me explain. For many of us, our ego gets in the way of so many things. In the sense of working out, making progress, and sticking to things, our ego gets in the way by making us think that we now know everything and we are the shit. This has happened to many of us. One of the best and most prime examples in life is teenagehood. I'm sure about 90% of us have thought, we know the secret of life, we know how everything is run, we don't need nobody. That is not the case, and when it comes to working out, losing weight, reaching your goals, that is 100% not the case. After 8 years of working out, I still try every single bit of advice that I can get, whether it's nutritional, whether it's training. You need to test things out. There is people that have been doing this for decades. Now, that doesn't mean their advice is going to work on us. However, it's worth a try. We need to realize we don't know everything. We need to realize that we are not the shit. There is always somebody that works harder than you. There is always somebody that eats better than you. There is always somebody that knows more than you. And instead of getting our ego hurt and taking it personally, if somebody knows more than us, we need to use that to our advantage. Get the information and maybe share a bit of knowledge with them. Maybe something that they didn't know. Doing that, you've potentially made a friend that knows well, and oftentimes two minds think better than one. Don't let ego take the better of you. Again, with so much social media in our hands, it is hard to do so. But next time you see a big guy doing a workout, try the damn workout. It might be better than yours. Who knows? Now for the last one, it is exactly the opposite of the ego. And it's not having enough ego, I guess. It's basically listening to every single thing that you see. Again, the biggest problem is social media. You scroll 5 posts down and you've seen 3 different workouts that do such a different thing that you don't know what to do. So you do, oh, that's not gonna work. Yes, it's good to listen, take advice, But at the end of the day, you need to structure your own thing. You need to structure what works for you. You need to figure out why that works. This way, you can personalize your own things. This is also how a good coach works. I give you what works for me with my logical explanation behind it. You then tell me, this is amazing, and we carry on. Or you tell me, this doesn't work, I don't like it, and then we change it up. You need to be able to do the same thing by yourself with your food, with your training, with your recovery. Some people say you need to get 8 hours of sleep. Some people say you need to get 10 hours of sleep. Some people say you need to sleep from 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock. Some people say you need to sleep from 12 o'clock to 8 o'clock. Have you tried both? You may have tried both, but which one works better? You need to start activating your brain. You need to start thinking about the things that you do. Another major issue with this is the rise of AI. People just ask AI, what do I do? And then just do it. They don't think about it. And you don't know why you're doing what you're doing. It's leaving so many things on the table because you just don't have an understanding. And you're listening to every single thing that there is. Just like you have an identity and a social life, build that exact same identity and personality in regards to the gym, in regards to recovery, in regards to diet. So those are the 9 things that I think oftentimes leave the most gains and progress on the table. Hope you found any of them useful. And until next time, see you boys and girls.